Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film, and they discuss it. Today, we're talking about 1993's Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings, which was directed by Jeff Burr. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Eric.
Actually, it's 1994.
Yeah, I was just going to say October 19th, 1994.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry. So, yeah, oh my God, so long overdue. This is like...
This was technically our number one, was it?
All right, so yeah, really quick before we jump into this. So basically the lore, Eric, of the lost episodes of Wheel of Horror, this is how it goes. So we recorded 31 episodes in October of 2020. The first 9 episodes, you didn't have a microphone, so it sounded really bad. So we took those episodes off. I have them still, they're saved. Then we re-recorded those episodes and we released them, sporadically throughout the rest of the past 3 years. But that being said, the first episode that you ever got a microphone on was Pumpkinhead, which is our 9th episode. But technically, if you go on any platform, Spotify, Apple, anything,
It's number one.
Yeah, it's our first. So
Dat Dere Pumpkin Head. Can I just say Dat Dere Pumpkin Head?
Dat Dere Pumpkin Head. I have a new favorite line, but yeah, Dat Dere Pumpkin Head. So yeah, this movie has, the first one at least has a special place for us, because we would get stoned and watch it.
I remember the last time we did was with Justin, and we would be in my mom's basement and we would just watch it. And I remember you wanted to leave to go to your girlfriend's house to watch Walking Dead, and we were like, dude, we are so invested in Pumpkinhead. You're like, no, we need to go. And I just have great memories of Pumpkinhead. Great memories is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a dumb movie, but we love it, And it's Stan Winston and Lance Hendrickson, and it's like a decent movie. It's actually pretty good. Dude, I gotta say, I love this one. I thought this one was actually pretty good.
I laughed. I enjoyed it. It is direct to DVD TV, sci-fi movie style.
That's VHS.
Direct to VHS. Yes. Obviously, Lance Hendrickson, we can get into that too. Lance wanted nothing to do with this. I heard they asked him to be in it, but he was like, I don't want the script is awful. That's what I read.
Yeah, I saw that too. But did you like it?
I liked it. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I know. I thought this was going to be horrible, and I was like, honestly, for a 1994 straight-to-video movie, I looked it up. They filmed it in 24 days, and it was made for $1 million. And you're like, this is not that bad of a movie.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst.
No. I mean, I did not like the way it starts. Basically, they do a flashback to 1958, and it's all in black and white, and you see this, deformed kid living in the woods with his mom.
And then John Travolta from Grease is coming in and beating the shit out. Yeah, it's insane.
The most stereotypical 1950s, just let's beat him up. Somebody's got to do it.
This guy's special. Let's kick his ass. And then they end up lynching him and killing him.
Yeah, they hang him up and stab him with a switchblade repeatedly and punch him and then
a baseball bat, and it's all slow motion, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is this why people don't like white males? Maybe.
But yeah, so that's I don't know. I wasn't crazy about the black and white. I didn't like the way it was shot. It didn't really make any sense. Or I guess these kids would do that, but sure. So yeah, I can't remember what their name's called, but they're a group. They're a social car club at the high school.
The Red Wings or some shit, right? What was it?
I think that's it. Yeah, so the Red Wings, and so that's how the movie opens up, because, I mean, the lore of Pumpkinhead is basically a blood ritual that if someone dies, you can give some of your blood, put it into the earth or whatever, say the curse, and then Pumpkinhead will come out and exact revenge on the people for you.
If you've been wronged, you can get Pumpkinhead to right it. Kind of like the Crow in a lot of ways.
But I feel like somebody has to die. It can't just be that guy cut me off in traffic, Pumpkinhead, get him. Somebody has to die, right?
Well, the original movie has this great, complete full circle where the Pumpkinhead is brought to life by Lance Henriksen because a bunch of teenagers killed his son, and then at the end of the movie, he becomes one with Pumpkinhead, and then he dies, and then they bury him, and he's supposed to be the next Pumpkinhead when someone gets wronged again.
Right. No, it's sick.
Very similar, but this kind of derailed from that, and it was just no, it's just this is a kid who's the offspring of Pumpkinhead or some shit. And
well, I think it's just because Lance Henriksen didn't want to come back, so they're like, well, we got to do something. So yeah, like now the lore of Pumpkinhead continues from the first one, but I think they pretty much ignore the first one, but the legend continues. And that's pretty cool. And then they also do like a fish out of water thing kind of where, dude, the sheriff guy, that guy's in Hellraiser, he's in Child's Play 3.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, he's in Dirty Harry too. He's the bad guy from that, but he's in a lot of movies, and I thought he was great in this.
What was his name? Brackett or Barrett or Barrett or something. It's like there's so many sheriffs that like you're Sheriff Brackett and you're Sheriff Barrett. It's one of the two.
It's
That's what
it's
he was.
Braddock.
Yeah,
Braddock.
Brad, Sheriff Braddock. Yeah, with the mustache.
It takes place in North Carolina, and I love that. Some people have Southern twangs or whatever, but his character, him and his wife were in New York, and he was a sheriff up there. And then he's like, you know what? Let's get out of the city. Let's take our daughter. She's kind of like a troubled youth. Let's get her out of the big city and go back to my hometown or whatever. And I like that angle too. Like, this is a guy that knows the land, knows the legends, but has been away for all of his life, and now he's coming back as the sheriff. I really liked that little angle.
Not a terrible introduction. Kind of like Jaws, like with Chief Brody, who isn't cop coming to an island and he doesn't swim. He doesn't like the water.
Yeah, it's similar, but I almost like this more because imagine if Chief Brody actually grew up on the island and like he was coming back and he's like, this is my island, this is my land, my blood.
Yeah, like and how much has changed, but everyone's still there.
Yeah, because even he's just like, you Judge Dixon's boy? Like when he says Dixon, like I don't know. I liked some of the little I don't know. I like that about the character.
It's like a Pumpkinhead Hallmark movie. Like hometown guy comes home, meets
Big
this.
city. Yeah. But I do love right in the beginning though too. The mom and dad, the sheriff and his wife are sitting there, and they're like, "We got to get Jenny." I think, yeah, Jenny. We got to get her out of here. Like she's falling in with some bad crowds or whatever. Like here, hopefully she won't do that. And then like the next scene is her at the high school walking up. It's like, "You guys are the bad boys of the school," and they're like, "Yeah." It's like, "I guess I'm your friend now." And you're like, there wasn't even
Right,
any peer
right.
pressure. Like she sought them out.
She's like, I want to be with the crew that smokes cigarettes and like has switchblades and cars and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we meet like the bad kids or whatever, and I gotta say, man, this cast is stacked in my mind. I mean, you got Andrew Robinson, the guy we just mentioned who plays the sheriff. You got Solele Moonfry or whatever. She was Punky Brewster. I mean, I didn't watch that show, but still, whatever, cool. The guy that plays Danny, like the douchey bad guy or whatever, he was just in a movie Joe and I did, Return of the Living Dead Part 3. He's the male lead in that. You got Linnea Quigley, the woman who's having sex in the barn later on. She's just like a staple 80s scream queen who's always showing her boobs and everything. Freaking Kane Hodder's in this.
Who's Kate Hodder in this? I didn't catch him. Is he one of the like the farmer guys?
Dude, he's the brother that like when the deaf sister, he's like pushing her on the ground or whatever. He's like, hey, don't do
Oh
that.
my God. You're right. I didn't put that together. Yep.
And then my boy from Dallas,
Pride of Dallas.
Pride of Dallas, the judge. He's Ray on
Dixon.
Dallas. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, that's Ray from Dallas. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, and then also I just did Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, and the guy that he's like, you're making my hunting license go up or whatever, and he's like the first guy that gets his arms and everything ripped off. That guy was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yeah, the guy who's just like, God help me, or what do you say?
So everybody in this movie, I was like, I know that guy. I know her. Oh my God.
You've been watching a lot of cast members from Pumpkinhead recently, it sounds like.
Dude, so I think that made me like it a little bit more because I was like, I know him, I know her, this is so amazing.
And who doesn't know Punky Brewster? That's a cool grab to have in the movie for sure.
I know, I texted Joe and I was like, dude, it's got Rob Zombie's wife in it. And he's like, really? And I looked it up, it's like not the same person. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no.
God, it's been so long since it's been a pod with Joe. I gotta get back on with Joe soon.
I'm going to see a movie with him tomorrow, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so the cast is stacked. Oh, and then also the one of the guys, her friends or whatever, he's like the head guy at the hospital and the good doctor.
Like the Good Doctor show with the kid with autism.
Yeah, so like the hospital, I don't know what he is, but he's one of the higher ups of the hospital. He's the younger black guy in this movie, and I was like, I know him too. Peter
No
is the
way.
character. So like I knew everybody.
You've been watching way too much television with your job and stuff. That's so funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch The Good Doctor, There's nothing wrong with it. But anyways, so great cast. For a VHS movie, seriously, like decent budget. It was all filmed in California at different studios and stuff like that. But the story is basically
Yeah, before you get into that, let me do the analytics. October 19th, 1994. It's an hour 28 minutes. Budget you said was 1 million.
that's what I read. Yeah.
Box office I have no numbers, but direct to video.
Yeah.
Its Rotten Critic score is 13% and its Rotten Audience is 21%. So there's 21% of people out there that freaking are Pumpkinhead people.
I fall into that, dude.
I'm in that 21%. I'm like, yeah, I'll give that a fresh score. For what it is, hell yeah. Give it the fresh score for sure.
Yeah, I mean 13% from the critics. Come on, guys. Come on. You know what this
Yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
a straight to video Pumpkinhead movie.
It's that damn Pumpkinhead. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just did the intro. The kid gets killed. His name is Tommy, and he's the deformed kid. It's a lot like Friday the 13th. And you're like, oh no, he got murdered. And the town goes on, and here we are like 35 years later. And yeah, the girl falls in with the wrong crowd. We meet these, star-studded cast of kids. And yeah, they're just the bad kids, smoking cigarettes, sneaking away during class and everything like that. And they go to the mine where that guy was killed, Tommy, in the beginning. They're like just hanging out, smoking cigarettes, walking over it, like super dangerous what they're doing.
Which also reminded me of Friday the 13th with Lar Park Lincoln or whatever. That's has to be the same like well or mine shaft that they shot in that film, is my take. But anyway, keep going.
Probably. I mean, it was all studio ranch. It's called Sable Ranch, so yeah. Then the sheriff goes and meets the judge, Judge Dixon, his old friend, and they're just kind of talking about the town a little bit. And then the group of kids, they all get caught by the sheriff. The sheriff gets introduced to all of them. He finds out that the main guy in the group is the judge's son. So he's the sheriff's friends with the judge. He's hanging out. His son is hanging out with the sheriff's daughter. They're starting to hook up, and yeah, he doesn't really like that. He can tell he's a bad kid. So then we get this is what the catalyst of the film. This is what starts everything. It's very reminiscent of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
And Donnie Darko too. Like,
The old lady, the witch.
yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Yeah, she's this old lady walking at night, and they're driving and just being drunk and stupid, and they hit her, and they think they kill her, but they don't, and they're like, we're gonna lie about it. It's very much like, yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, but this came up before that, so hey. And they're like, we're not going to tell anybody, but the witch lady survives. Then she goes back to her house, and then they're like, can we help you or whatever? And I like they just have an exchange where it's like, just get out of here, or we should just get out of here and fuck this lady. And the witch is like, I can't remember what they say, but there's some back and forth between the witch and the witch and
Yeah, and they're going through her shit in her house. Don't forget that.
yeah, yeah.
They're like looking at the vials in the house and the Book of Shadows and like, oh, she's a witch. Like,
Right. And I think they know about her, like that's that old crazy lady that lives up here. Like she's a legend in the area. And but yeah, so she comes in, she calls them out. She's like, this is bullshit what you guys are doing. And so they leave, but he pulls a gun on her, the guy. So that was kind of like shit. Like this guy's serious. Right? He pulled the gun on her there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then they leave, and the witch, she just like trips and like pulls the candle down.
The house catches on fire and they're like outside the house. Yeah.
That's not really their fault, though. Like they didn't light the house on fire.
Well, she's still disoriented from the car accident, I'm sure, but like if they knocked the candle over, I think it'd be different. But she did.
Right. I know if they did it and they're like, what'd you do, Tommy? It's like, we said we weren't talking about it. Let's go. And they just run out. And then that happened. All right. But they basically left. They're like, all right, let's get out of here. And then she just trips and knocks it over. So, yeah. But she survives. Pumpkinhead comes back and saves her, like pulls the mother out of the witch out of the house. And it's like, oh shit. So then somehow the cops come. So they're like, okay, like they saved her.
Yeah, and they bring her in the hospital and they're probably like, what's your health insurance? And
Right. Yeah. This lady does not have anything. I mean, she doesn't even have electricity at her house, I don't think. So, yeah. So she's in the hospital. She's in a coma. She's wrapped up in bandages. The police see that there's this huge scrape mark against the door or whatever. They're like, what the hell is that? And like, whatever. So they decide that they're going to, the teens are all going to keep quiet about it. And then randomly Pumpkinhead starts going and picking off random people, random we think, in the town. And the first guy that goes is the guy that from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, who's like a hunter in the area, and he's just like, this bullshit, you're raising my prices. He gets killed, and he gets killed. We don't see it, which sucks, but his head is gone, his legs are gone, his arms are gone, everything's there, and his body's just in a barn, just like.
Yeah, and he has like a the Texas Chainsaw Massacre like hook thing of the meat hook scene too, right?
Wait, does that guy get? He gets. I thought we.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead throws this guy. Like this is right when Pumpkinhead was summoned. It throws this guy, and he gets caught on a hook, and then like Pumpkinhead's just like slashing this dude, and he's cutting
Right.
arms off, but he's like upside down on a hook too.
That's right. Yeah, it's all kind of blending together. That's right. Oh, and also before we move on with the other part is the kids. Oh, they steal her book and they steal or like a page from the book and they steal.
The Book of Shadows, yeah. Which
Yeah.
also, me and Mike Valente are big Book of Shadows people. I gave him that as a gift on my wedding or a bachelor party. I gave him a Book of Shadows. It's a blank book. You fill it out yourself. It's cool.
Huh. Yeah, I don't really know what that is.
It's for witches. It's a Book of Shadows. It's a blank book, and then you take it and you add your own spells and stuff to it. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's sick. I was thinking it was the Blair Witch Project too, and I was like, it's not that. It's not good. You're like, no, we're huge fans because that's Blair Witch Project 2, Book of Shadows.
Huge fans of Book of Shadows. Yeah, I don't know about that movie at all. Did we
Yeah.
ever cover that? Did we ever cover Book of Shadows?
No, maybe we should someday.
Maybe, sure. Yeah.
There's other stuff, but yeah. So okay, so I forgot. Yeah, so they steal that stuff. They go to a graveyard, and then they say the incantation. They pour blood on it, and then like they pour it into like its mouth or whatever. And I guess that's supposed to be Lance Hendrickson, right? Like that's the pumpkin head from the first one.
I would imagine that's where they buried Lance at the end, who was like a pumpkin head deformed guy. In like the old lady buried him. Yes. So yeah, that should be him.
Okay, so then it comes back, but it seems like the revenge it's enacting is on the people that killed.
It's Tommy. Now it's connected with not Lance, but someone who's dead already.
Yeah, so it's well, the first one, the revenge was for the son, like the son who was dead.
It was the son that was dead, but it connected with Lance. At the end of the movie, it always has to recycle with a body going into the ground, which I think did happen. And that becomes Pumpkinhead again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this one they never continue the story of this one, so it's the third and fourth one apparently are sequels to the first one, but this one's just completely forgotten, which is like okay, but yeah. So Pumpkinhead, yeah. So he comes back because they say the spell and they do at the grave and all that stuff, and then he comes back, saves the woman when the house burns on fire, and then goes and kills that guy. So we're like, oh, that's random. He just killed that guy. So we think. And the police sheriff's doing the investigation. He sees that there's like a symbol on the wall that looks like wings, like they're blood wings, like the title. And he's
Oh my God. Can we talk about the title with the fire too? We're big suckers for the title cards.
I don't remember liking this one as much.
It was just fire to do. And also it kind of sounded like Chinese music. Listen to it again. Listen to it again and tell me I'm wrong. It was like it sounded like a slot machine for like a Chinese like casino.
Oh, all right, that didn't stand out to me, but I'll listen again.
But it's just fire, and then it goes like Pumpkinhead, Blood Wings.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's no Phantasm. We'll put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, intro's fine. I mean, I don't remember the music wasn't great, the title card's fine. Yeah. So then sorry, where do we live off? Oh yeah, so he kills that first guy and then the sheriff's like, okay, blood wings. But the sheriff's also becoming friends with the town doctor. He meets the town mayor and the town judge. So he's meeting all of, like the high players or whatever. And the doctor, I love the relationship with the doctor and the sheriff dude. My favorite line in the movie is when the doctor is sitting down at the table with the sheriff and the sheriff's wife, and she's just like, legend has it that it's Pumpkinhead. And the wife just goes, Pumpkinhead? Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you sent me that video, and that's about like 30 seconds away from the nursery rhyme that happens at the end of that scene.
Yeah,
Do you have that nursery rhyme? I don't have it.
I don't know.
It's like do your stuff and guard your halls, do something and something dogs. It's like go under your bed, nothing will save you from Pumpkinhead. That's all it is pretty much. As like shitty as I could say it, like it was just like something about dogs being there and like lock your doors and bar your windows. have the guard dogs out in the yard. Like that's all it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so we learn that the lore is there. The sheriff remembers the lore. Everybody knows about Pumpkinhead. They don't really know exactly what it is, but it's a cryptid, so it's like a local legend, and people believe it or they don't, but everybody knows about it. And so the kids, the young teens who hit the woman, the witch woman, they're like, it might be Pumpkinhead that's doing this. And the sheriff, he's like, shit, this actually might be Pumpkinhead. After there is another kill, this is like right after that second kill, which is this random dude who's just having sex in his truck with Leanna Quigley. And Pumpkinhead just goes in, blows the door off, and just murders the guy and then leaves Leanna Quigley. So you're like, why the hell did he kill that guy? Like, that was so random. But the Leanna Quigley survives, but she's completely catatonic. So you're like, I guess she doesn't really survive. I mean, unless she can come out of that trance she's in, but she can't speak. And she's just like staring at the wall. So you're like, okay. He's like, she scared her to death. And you're like, oh, so she's alive, but she's like brain dead from the being scared so much. I don't know. So then at that point, they're like, all right, something's going on. We got to figure out what these connections are. And the next people that get killed are the Knott brothers, which are three dudes who live on a farm, and one of them is Kane Hodder. And yeah, dude, I was just like, I can't believe this Kane Hodder, and I can't believe they made him into such a scumbag.
I know. I'm thinking of that character now. Yeah.
Because at this point, he had done three Friday the 13th, or fourth Friday the 13th movies. No, I guess three, because Jason X was coming out later. But yeah, so you're like, damn, give him a little respect. Don't make him into an incest, like, guy. Like, yeah, that's bad. That's messed up. But they get killed. Pumpkinhead just comes out, murders them. I don't think we see anything, though. It's just like a flash of light, like, what's that? And then she's like, right? Or did we see anything? I can't remember.
I think it was very quick.
Okay, so yeah, those three get killed. So now we have five people that have all been murdered, and the symbol is at all of the places, the Bloodwing symbol. And the judge he's aware of everything going on. He's at all the murders, and you're like, why is this guy here? And that kind of gives it away, like kind of early, that you're like, all right, but he's definitely involved because he's at all the murder crime scenes, and he's like, this ain't so bad. Like, what? This is nothing. And the sheriff's like, okay, like, really? But and the mayor then is like, I hear Pumpkinhead's back. It's like, we should open up like a carnival around here. And the it's kind of like Jaws a little bit in that regard. This movie is a little bit like Jaws.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm not wrong on that sense, but I got a lot of what was the other one? So it reminded me of Donnie Darko, Jaws. It reminded me of I mentioned another movie, The Crow. But also, did you think that the lead girl who plays, I think Jenny or whatever, did she not look like Emma Roberts, or is that just me?
Eh,
She looked a lot like Emma Roberts to me. She did. I don't know.
I mean, Emma Roberts has dark hair and dark eyes, right? She's a Harry Potter girl, right? Or no, who's Emma Roberts? Oh, Emma Roberts, Julie Roberts.
Yeah, she
Yo.
was in like American Horror Story a little bit, right?
Oh, I mean, I guess the
I
face,
I saw
yeah. The
that.
hair color is so different though that it's like hard to imagine, but yeah, I can see it. I can see it in the face, yeah.
Yeah, it also reminded me of Hairspray the musical too.
Why?
Okay,
I
no.
thought you were talking about Emma Watson. I was like, yeah, no, but
Not at
okay.
all. Not at all. She has
I
red
was,
hair. What are you fucking
I'm
talking
like,
about?
okay.
I got you. I got you. Also, I have the official poem. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Bolted doors and windows barred. Guard dogs prowling in the yard. They won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead.
I liked yours better. Yours was like, lock the door, go under your bed, and put the dogs in the front yard, and
Yeah,
pumpkin.
I was like, yeah, the Pumpkinhead in the yard and that there. Let me end on the won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from that dear Pumpkinhead.
I mean, hey, it's not bad. They tried to take like the Freddy Krueger, nursery rhyme and make it their own.
I mean, the Freddy Krueger one is like leaps and bounds better than that shit. Like
Yeah,
someone wrote that on a Denny's napkin.
I don't think it's that bad. I think
Come
I mean,
on.
Pumpkinhead looked really good in the first one, and this one, like, dude, for a straight to VHS, if this was in theaters, even if it was in theaters, I still would think it was pretty good for 1993 or whatever. But
Yeah, this is a superior directed to VHS film for sure.
yeah, so like, and 24 days, dude, that's 3 weeks, man. In 3 days, they're like, all right, let's crank out.
I can only imagine what that director went through. So thoughts and prayers. Yeah, that must have been fucking crazy.
Yeah, so then after the Knox brothers are dead, yeah, there's five that are dead. The judge is like, all right, I'm gonna hire like the town rednecks to come protect me, and they're just like, oh yeah, is it Pumpkinhead? Yeah, yeah, we'll do that.
Those are all the killers of Tommy. Those are the greasers and the kids of the greaser, right? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, the people that got killed are part of the Red Wings, that group that killed Tommy when
Yeah.
he, yeah, back in 1958 or whatever. Yes. So that's the people that Pumpkinhead's killing. That's the connection that we all find out. And we get that from the sheriff and the doctor looking at the yearbook and being like, oh, okay. And at that point, I don't know. I guess that connection makes sense because you're like, who else would it be? We know Pumpkinhead's about revenge. So who else? So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so the sheriff's at his house. For some reason, his son, who's, hooking up with the sheriff, the lead character's daughter, they're like, let's have a party at my house. So like they all go over to the house, but Danny, the douchebag kid, he's like unhinged at this point. He's got a gun with him. All of his friends are like, we need to go to the police. Like there's five people that have been killed. Clearly something's going on.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they go to the grave. They're like, all right, let's go to the grave and see what's there. They go and the body's gone. And he's like, that doesn't mean anything. And it's like, it kind of does.
That means a fucking lot, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
So the Pumpkinhead's missing, and the Pumpkinhead goes in and murders the judge. So you're like, okay, so kills the judge. And one of my other favorite lines when the judge is like, who the hell are you? And it's like this massive creature just walking towards him, and it's like, who the hell are you? And he starts shooting him. I love that. The who the hell are you? I thought it
it's
was so
like,
great.
show me some ID.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't have ID.
You are trespassing on my property. I want your first and last name. It was great. So yeah, he gets murdered. And then the son is at his quote unquote party, which is just him holding his friends at gunpoint and just like yelling at them. And really quick, this is a trend in the Pumpkinhead movies, but I don't understand because Joel from the first one was like the biggest piece of shit in the world. He kills the kid on his dirt bike, and then all of his friends are also held hostage by him, and until Pumpkinhead comes and kills them all. This one, that guy kills or hits the witch. She ultimately dies. And then he holds his friends at gunpoint when they're afraid and they want to tell the police. So it's kind of a trend to have a douchebag in these movies. But what do the women see in him? Like, what does Jenny see in this guy at all? Besides he's like attractive and has a nice car. Like, what can you think?
Just bad boy. Bad boy attitude, man.
Good God, dude, he's the worst.
I mean, that haircut too in the 90s was just like that Nick Carter thing. I had that too. And I think that's the parted
Yeah,
thing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
You have the haircut, you're a bad boy.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, she's with this guy who has a gun pointed at her. It's like, Danny, stop. He's like, shut the fuck up. And it's like, all right. So he's like, all right, Johnny, you're gonna go out to my car and like, go get the keys or whatever. Like, so he left something in the car, so he sends his friend to go get it. And the friend's like, please don't make me do this. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Go get my car. So he goes out there, Pumpkinhead kills him. You're like, okay, makes sense, makes sense. The sheriff finds out that the witch is dead, so he's coming to go save his daughter, who's at the sheriff's or at the judge's house. The rednecks are all coming. Everybody's coming to the judge's house. Pumpkinhead kills the friend, throws him through the window. And another line I rewound like four times is when the friend smashes through the window and Danny just goes, "What the fuck?" And it was so good, dude.
I love that shit. That was
What the
so good.
fuck?
What the
It was so good. So yeah, all the friends run out. Everybody's scared. They run out, and Pumpkinhead chases them through the woods, like split up. So the lead girl and her boyfriend Danny, the bad guy, they run off in one direction. The other two run off in the other direction. Pumpkinhead murders the other two, and chases them down, and then murders Danny. Rips his head off, like just off his body, and now it's just Jenny. She's running through the woods, like, please don't kill me, Pumpkinhead. Gets to the well where Pumpkinhead or Tommy or whatever was murdered in the beginning of the movie. Pumpkinhead's standing there, easily could have just killed her, but for some reason, like 40 seconds goes by and he slowly creeps up on her. And then the sheriff, comes up and he's like, Tommy, don't do this. I saved you, remember? And they show the flashback of him as a kid playing with him and saving him from falling down the well. And Pumpkinhead's like, oh yeah, let's the boy go or the girl go. And then right then, all of the redneck guys come up and they're like, that's the thing, shoot it. And they just shoot Pumpkinhead in the like saddest way. He gets like trapped in the ropes above the well and they just fucking unload on him. And he can't even fight back, can't do anything. And then he drops down the well and dies. And they're showing flashbacks of the beginning of the movie when they were killing him the first time. You're like, God damn, it's It's kind of sad.
I mean, I think that's the story of Pumpkinhead. It's not a happy story.
Well, now they need to do a sequel to this where Pumpkinhead comes back and gets revenge on all those people. That's what I want to see now. They forget the storyline. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a very good sequel, especially for what it was. I think this is a solid follow-up, and I'm glad. I'm sad we waited this long, but I'm glad that we finally covered it.
It's nice to keep doing this because like we hit stuff we did in 2020 and it's just like, oh my God, we haven't done Pumpkinhead 2. It's
Yeah.
cool.
I heard 3 and 4 are awful.
Let's not bother.
We'll wait a little bit, but yeah. So this is a fun one. Check it out.
Hey, and anyone who's listening, if you have any recommends for us, like please comment, let us know. We're game. We want your feedback, please.
No, absolutely. And and the other thing is check out there's an article written in LA Voyage about us, about Wheel of Horror, so you can read that. It's on Wheel of Horror's Instagram. I posted on my Instagram. So yeah,
I share the story too. Yeah.
oh, hey. So yeah, so everybody can go check that out if you're interested. It just kind of talks about us, a little bit about me, and yeah, that was cool. Thank you to
I
them.
mean, primarily the focus is on you. I mean, right?
I mean, well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the pod. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But anyway, so you can read that if you're interested. But yeah, it talks about the podcast and about me. But yeah. Anyway,
Alec, I'm joking. Oh my God.
yeah, no, I know. All right, well, why don't we spin the old wheel?
Let's spin the wheel. All right, spinning. All right, fellas, we got Jason Takes Manhattan. And please, Alec, tell me, is this the last Jason movie?
Yes, finally, we finished the entire Friday the 13th series. So, woo!
It's bittersweet. So does that mean you? And do we bring on Joe? Who's the guest? Do we have a guest?
Yeah, we'll see. It might be Joe. We'll find out. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening in to our discussion on Pumpkinhead 2. And and we'll see you all next week with Jason Takes Manhattan.
Woo!